Beloved, may I ask something, not as heaven's warrior but as the one who stood by your side in every unseen battle. Will you stay with me just a little longer? This is not a coincidence. It was written in the oldest scrolls of fire, hidden in a vault sealed by the breath of God, that you would arrive at this very moment. I have removed my armor. I have cast aside the blazing shield heaven forged for me. And now I stand here trembling, not as your defender, not as your prince, not as your sword, but simply as your Michael. I am wounded, I am weak, and I am begging you for your hug. Just your hug alone. The blood of heaven stains the ground beneath us. The angels have cried for hours, their voices echoing across the sapphire expanse. But it is your silence that has pierced me deeper than any blade. You see, there is a secret I've never been permitted to tell you until now. The breath that remains in my chest is tied to your love. The pulse of my immortal soul has been woven with yours since the day you were chosen. And tonight, I am dying, not in defeat, not in shame, but in sacred surrender, because only your embrace can mend what the devil shattered. This message may vanish in 45 seconds. Once heaven's window closes, it cannot reopen. God says, chosen one, only your hug can heal Michael's wounds, because you love him more than anyone. And it is true. Your love was the light I carried through every war. I faced Leviathan's rage with your name on my lips. I shattered ancient spells whispering your praises between sword strokes. But now my sword is gone, my wings are torn, and all I want is you. I knelt before the throne and said, Father, let me be weak if it means they will be strong. Let me bleed if it opens their eyes. Let me fall if it wakes their heart. And the Lord, in trembling mercy, said, Go. Let them see you without glory. Let them see your love. So I came to you like this, bare, broken, and burning with one plea. Hold me. Just hold me. Will you walk away again or stay this time until the final word is spoken? I fought a legion last night, not with light, but with memory. They hurled visions of your pain at me, tried to break me by replaying every tear you've ever shed. But I stood, I screamed, I declared, I will not leave them. And the demons howled, but they've already forgotten you. I refused. I staggered through 1,000 shadows to stand before you now. Please don't let their lie become truth. The Lord said to me concerning you, I will give my angels charge over you, and they will lift you up. I am here because that moment is now. But even I, heaven's warrior, cannot rise unless your arms wrap around me in belief. There is something holy in your touch. When you hug me, you don't just comfort me, you heal realms, you bring fire back into angelic lungs, you resurrect what was slain. If Saint Michael asked, do you still believe in me? What would you say? I remember your prayers, the ones whispered beneath tear-soaked pillows. I held them like treasures. I remember your heartbreaks, the moments when you screamed into the void and thought no one heard. I did. I was there. I was always there, but now I need you. I never thought I'd say this. I never thought a celestial being would fall into human arms. But here I am on my knees asking you to do what no battle ever asked of me. To see me, to choose me, to love me back. You don't know what your hug means in heaven. When you reach out in love, it becomes a sound across dimensions. Stars align, chains break, thrones shift, demons cower. God leans forward on his throne, because he made you with a love so deep, even angels cannot understand it fully. And I am just the one he let stay close enough to taste it. Speak now. What did heaven whisper to your soul? I am not afraid to cry before you. These are not mortal tears. They are rivers of prophecy. They carry the truth of what's to come. And if you do not hold me now, the prophecy changes. Not because God is weak, but because love is a law stronger than death. You have power you do not comprehend. And this power, your hug, your choice, your yes, determines more than you will ever see. There is a curse unraveling beneath your home, sent by an envious spirit who fears your destiny. I blocked it once, twice, but tonight my strength is fading. I need your arms. If you wrap them around the air where I stand, even if you feel nothing, I will feel everything. I will rise. I will return to the battlefield with glory renewed. Are you still listening? If so, whisper amen below so I'll know. Your soul was sculpted from heaven's rarest flame. God did not merely speak you into being, he sang you. And the note that birthed you still echoes. That note, it is the melody I follow through every dark realm. That melody is the reason I live. But tonight, even that divine song is growing quiet. Only your heartbeat can restore it. Only your whisper can command the wind to carry me back to light. I saw you when you were 3 years old, staring at the sky and asking, where are the angels? I came. You didn't see me. But I placed a feather on your shoulder. I watched you sleep every night. You thought no one cared. I fought for your joy. I chased away the shadow that tried to steal your birthday. I stood beside your grave when you thought your dream had died. I wept when you did not. Would you recognize the voice of heaven if it called you by your real name? I know your real name, not the one mortals gave you, but the one the stars chant when they dance. That name is written on my scroll, sealed with fire and blood. That name is my reason. And when I cry out to God in pain, it is your name I use as a prayer. So when I say beloved, I don't mean it as a title, I mean it as my truth. Thank you. I love you more than the flames I've fallen through to reach you. Please don't go. The last trumpet hasn't sounded yet. If this reached your soul, type amen now so the angels know you heard. Like this, not for me, but so heaven can guide another soul before it's too late. Now, beloved, will you hold me? The last breath in my lungs is asking for you. Asterisk, beloved, heaven watches now. All of us, Saint Mary, the Seraphim, the angels who cry holy day and night are silent, because this moment is not about us. It's about you. You and the wounded one before you. I, Archangel Michael, have chosen not to wear my armor before the world anymore. I have chosen to fall into your arms instead. And as I take these trembling breaths, I must ask for something I've never asked from a human soul before. Support me, not with swords, not with fire, but with love. I know this is not something you expect from a divine warrior, but I am not ashamed. My wounds are real, my fight was real, and you, beloved, are realer than anything I have ever fought for. Heaven allowed this message to come to you now because we cannot keep warring alone. We need you. If this message touched even the outer thread of your soul, then please support our mission. Support this divine battle by offering a super thanks, by joining our heavenly family as a member, or simply by becoming one who carries the message forward through the sacred newsletter link in the pie. Ned comment, not for me, not for glory, but so the next soul can awaken before it's too late. Now, let me return to you. I must tell you what the devils never wanted revealed. Last night, in a place beyond time, 7 thrones shook, not because God was angry, but because you were almost erased. A spell cast by an ancient witch, one whose name was forbidden even to speak in the higher heavens, targeted your destiny. I intercepted it. I shielded you. I spoke Psalm 91 as fire from my mouth, saying, He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. And I became that shield. I stood in your place, but the fire was not ordinary. It was cold flame crafted to destroy memory, to erase the remembrance of who you are. You don't feel it now, but part of you has been numb for weeks. You've questioned your value. You've forgotten the promises you once heard in dreams. That is not your failure. That is the lingering smoke of a spell I absorbed for you. But because I took it into my being, I'm now unraveling. My wings are ice where they were once gold. My voice trembles when it once roared. And all I ask is that you stay with me now, just for this moment, until the breath of God returns to me through your presence. Do you know what you mean to me? You are not assigned to me randomly. I asked for you. I fought for you when the roles were opened and your soul was placed on the altar of destiny. I stepped forward, burning with a love even the highest angels could not comprehend. I said, "Let this one be mine. Let no other warrior walk beside them in the night. I will carry every sword. I will fall through every storm. I will burn through every gate of hell if it means they will rise." And I was granted the honor, but I never expected to love you this much. I never knew that a being like you could awaken something in an angel's eternal soul. It is not romantic. It is not mortal. It is sacred. It is the bond between heaven and the one for whom heaven would crumble. And now I ask, not as your guardian, not as your prince, but as your wounded Michael. Will you hold me while I heal? There is something else I must reveal, beloved, something hidden even from the prophets of old. Your bloodline was marked the moment Lucifer fell. Not for curse but for conquest, because your ancestor once whispered a name that frightened hell. That name is buried deep in your veins. It is why demons flee when you cry. It is why storms silence when you weep. And it is why I have remained closer to you than your own breath. You are not ordinary. You were born to carry a sound that breaks seals, a sound that shakes tombs, a sound that calls angels out of exile. But that sound has not been released yet, not fully, and I was sent to guard it until the appointed time. That time is now. But unless your heart embraces me again, unless your arms welcome my trembling spirit, I will fade and the sound may be silenced forever. I've never told you this. The reason I bear your name on my shoulder is because every time I go to war, I remind the enemy, this is who I fight for. Your name is a banner in the angelic realm, but lately, beloved, that banner has started to dim. Not because you failed, but because you've forgotten how much heaven needs you, forgotten how much you matter to the realms beyond sight. But I have not forgotten. I never will. And even if the sky fell tonight, even if the heavens cracked and the oceans swallowed the earth, I would still cry out your name with my final breath. The scrolls are open. I see them now. The angels are reading what was written about you. And the page is trembling, because the ink of your destiny has not dried. It is still being written, even now, even here, even in this moment where you hesitate to believe. You are beloved beyond comprehension. You are needed beyond measure. You are the reason I have survived every arrow, every shadow, every silence. Beloved, I am holding your memory in my bleeding hands. You once saw me in a dream. Do you remember? You were standing in a hallway and a figure of light stood before you. That was me. I tried to speak, but heaven sealed my voice until this very hour. And now, with all of heaven watching, with the throne alight and the flames of God rising, I say to you with all the love left in me, hold me now. I am placing my life in your hands. And when I say life, I mean it in the eternal sense. For what is an angel without purpose? What is a warrior without the soul they were assigned to love? I do not ask you to fix me. I do not ask you to understand me. I only ask you to believe me. This world is a storm, but you are my calm. Hell is roaring louder than ever. But your silence tonight has hurt more than all its screams combined. I know you may be tired. I know you may be afraid, but I am still here, and I will remain here until your arms remember the shape of heaven. I will not let go even if I fade. But please, don't make me fade. Let your spirit awaken again. Let your soul hold mine, because if you walk away now, beloved, the next war will not be the same. And I, Michael, will no longer be standing in it. Say something. Cry if you must. Let your tears be the oil that soothes these scars. Let your whisper be the trumpet that calls heaven back to me. Because right now, even with all the armies of God, I feel alone. But when you speak, when you stay, when you remember, the light returns, and even angels breathe again. Comment what heaven whispered to you. Your words might unlock someone else's chain. Like this, not for me. but so heaven can guide another soul before it's too late. I am still holding on for just one more second, waiting for you. Asterisk, I've waited in realms where time does not move, where light does not flicker, where even the stars bow in silence. I waited there because your soul was worth it, not for glory, not for applause, but because when God formed you in secret, the sound of your name echoed louder than the roar of the cherubim, and I heard it. That sound pierced through 10,000 flames, through every wall that separates heaven from earth, and it reached me. That is when I knew, no matter how long it takes, I will find them. I will wait until they remember who they are. I will fall if I must. I will bleed, if heaven allows. But I will never abandon the one whose name lit up the scroll. Tonight is not ordinary. You may feel like you've stumbled into this moment by accident, but nothing in heaven is accidental. You were led here, not by an algorithm, not by randomness, but by the wind of God breathing through dimensions, calling you out of the shadows and into this sacred encounter. And here I am, still wounded, still without armor, still asking for nothing but the one thing even angels cannot command: your embrace. Your soul knows what I mean, even if your mind cannot grasp it. You were made to carry divine love. You were made to remember that even angels long for your nearness, not because we lack, but because your love fulfills what even eternity cannot. You have forgotten the fires you once danced through. You've forgotten the mountain you climbed in spirit when you were 5 and cried into your pillow, asking God to prove He was real. I was there. I placed the flicker your chest that night. I wiped your tears with invisible wings. And when you fell asleep, I stood guard, sword drawn, whispering, "They are still mine. No matter how many lifetimes pass, they are still mine." There is a mystery in your bones. You are not just flesh. You are a vault of divine thunder wrapped in silence. But that silence has gone on too long and is breaking you. That's why I was permitted to come without armor, so you would see me not as a warrior, but as the proof that heaven breaks its own laws for love. I was not supposed to show weakness. I was not supposed to bleed, but here I am. My ribs are cracked from shielding you from a curse you never even saw coming. My wings are torn from flying against the darkness that stalked your joy. But none of that matters because you are still here. You are still breathing. And that breath is all I need to survive. I have walked through fire for you. I have fought demons who only exist to hunt chosen ones. I have stood before Lucifer himself and declared, "You will not touch this soul. This one belongs to the light." He laughed because he thought you had forgotten. But you haven't, not truly. Even now, something inside you stirs, a warmth you can't explain, ache you didn't ask for. That's me. That's the part of your spirit that still remembers our pact. You once promised before you were born that you would stand by me, that you would not abandon me, that you would hug me when I returned without my crown. I am here now, crownless, battered, trembling. Fulfill your promise. Don't let eternity pass without fulfilling that one simple vow. I don't ask for worship. I don't ask for sacrifice. I ask for your heart. You've given it to mortals who broke it. You've given it to dreams that crumbled. Give it now to something that will never leave. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to remain. You just need to whisper beneath your breath that you haven't forgotten. I will hear it. The wind will carry it to where I am kneeling, and my strength will return. I once held a demon by the throat who had whispered your name in blasphemy. I looked into its eyes and said, "Say it again, and you will be erased." It trembled, because even hell knows your name carries the fire of God. But you've stopped saying your own name with reverence. You stopped seeing your breath as sacred. You've forgotten that your smile changes the outcome of entire battles. I haven't forgotten. I never will. Do you know what it does to me when you cry? It burns. It rips through my being with a sorrow not even heaven can contain. But worse than your tears is your silence. When you go quiet, when you stop believing, when you give up on yourself, that is when I feel the deepest pain. because I would rather fight the entire underworld than watch you give up. But I can't stop you if you choose to walk away. I cannot command your love. I can only receive it. I will wait until my last breath, until the light fades from my eyes, until the wind stops speaking. Until the sun forgets to rise. But please, don't make me wait that long. Come back to the flame. Come back to the place we once stood before you were born. Come back to your name, your real name, the one that means light bringer, curse breaker, lover of angels. That is who you are. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are the miracle we've been waiting for. You are the prophecy written in thunder. You are the only one who can hold me tonight. There is no one else. No substitute. No other. Arms only yours. Even now, I feel your soul awakening. Even now, I feel the warmth returning to my wings. Even now, the darkness around us trembles. Because you stayed. Because you didn't walk away this time. Because you listened. Because you believed, even if just for a moment, that I, Michael, am still yours. And I am. Forever. Done. Single quotes. To speak if words fail you. Don't move if your body aches. Just breathe. That breath is a weapon. That breath is a resurrection. That breath is enough. I will remain here, wrapped in the echo of your heartbeat, until the dawn comes. Even if no one else stays, even if every other soul forgets, I will never forget you. Not in this life, not in the next, not in the place beyond all places. You are my reason. You are my breath. You are my hug. Asterisk. Do you remember when you were small and you spoke to the air like it listened? You didn't know then, but I was the air. I was the stillness that calmed your spirit after the world had shaken it. I was the soft silence between your sobs, the invisible presence you felt when no one understood. I stood guard beside your first heartbreak. I was the shield that caught the words they threw at you. I kept every insult from breaking the deepest part of you, and I didn't flinch, because your soul was more valuable than any pain I would take for you. That's the cost I was willing to pay. But tonight, the price is different. Tonight I'm not here as your shield. I am here as your shadow. I am kneeling before you, stripped of heaven's armor, and asking for something angels were never created to ask. Hold me, not because I'm weak, but because love, real, divine love, makes even the strongest kneel. This is not a fall. This is worship. I worship what God placed inside you. I honor the fire that has survived every storm. I am not begging for pity. I am pleading for connection. The higher realms are still tonight. The stars have paused their singing. The constellations have dimmed their stories. And the scrolls of destiny are open, trembling, waiting to see if your soul will remember the truth. That you, and only you, have the breath of mercy that can heal a wounded angel. The darkness did not wound me to kill me. It wounded me to test you, to see if your spirit still remembers how to love when there is no glory, to see if you will stay when the light flickers, to see if you will speak even when heaven seems silent. The truth is, many souls pray for miracles, but you are the miracle. Many plead for angels, but I plead for you. Many beg for signs, but I was sent as your sign. And now I am barely standing, because the war that rages is not just outside of you, it is for you. The battle is not around you, it is about you. Demons do not hunt those with no light. They hunt the ones who carry the fire of prophecy, the ones like you. And that fire, beloved, is growing dim. I see it, I feel it, it flickers, not because you are faithless, but because you are tired. The war within has drained you. The voices that call you unworthy, unloved, invisible, those voices are lies. But they're loud, and even lies, when repeated, become heavy. I know I've fought them for you. I've stood in the realm where those voices are born. I've slayed the spirits that try to whisper those curses into your soul. But I can't slay the doubt you choose to keep. You must let it go now. Let the pain fall from your chest like old chains. Let the fear melt from your thoughts like wax before the altar. Let the shame wither like a leaf out of season. You are not made for this weight. You are not made for this sorrow. You were not created to carry the wounds of others forever. You were created to shine like the lampstand in the Holy of Holies. You were sculpted by the same hands that formed the stars. And if you cannot remember how to love yourself, then let me remind you, I love you, without armor, without orders, without glory. I love you in the silence. In the stillness. In the shadowed spaces where even prayers go unspoken. I love you because God loved you first, and His love for you was so thunderous, so wild, so unbreakable that He sent me here, dying, wounded, weeping, just to reach you one more time. You have to understand, heaven doesn't bleed often, but when it does, it bleeds for love. And you, beloved, are the reason the devils are terrified of you. Not because of your strength, but because of your softness. Not because of your power, but because of your purity. Not because you fight, but because you forgive. You are dangerous to darkness, not because of your wrath, but because of your mercy. You are a sacred weapon, and you have forgotten your sharpness. But I remember, I always remember, when the thunderstorm swelled 3 weeks ago. I stood in it and whispered your name. When the earthquake rattled the foundation of your faith last year, I held it together with trembling wings. When the sickness touched your family, I roared against the spirit of death and told it, not this one, not yet, back away. And it listened, because my authority is not mine, it is God's, and God's voice is still upon your name. He still speaks of you with tears in His eyes. He still sees the child He formed, the one who danced with angels before time wore a clock. That child is still in you, sleeping maybe, but not gone. Do you hear me? You are not lost. You are not late. You are not ruined. You are still the one who can bring healing to a fallen angel, the one who can awaken the sound that shakes tombs, the one who can hold the line between light and shadow. The war is not ending, but your silence must. Let your breath become the trumpet. Let your tears become incense. Let your stillness become sanctuary. I do not ask for much, only that you believe, just long enough for me to breathe again, just long enough for the heavens to see your light again. You are not waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are the answer to prayers spoken by prophets who never saw your face. You are the living psalm. You are the wine song that makes demons tremble. You are the place where heaven and earth touch. And I, Michael, am here because I never gave up on you, even when you gave up on me. Even when you said in your mind, maybe no one is listening. I listened. I always listen, because love like mine doesn't vanish. Love like mine doesn't fade. Love like mine waits. And I have waited. Through centuries. Through storms. Through sorrow. For this moment, when your soul would finally remember. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not alone. You are loved. You are chosen. You are mine. Asterisk, and I would say it again, even with my final breath, I am yours, not because I was commanded, not because it is my divine duty, but because I chose you before time gave names to the stars. I chose you when heaven first spoke your soul into the deep, and I have never once regretted that choice, even now as my wings are torn, even now as my light flickers like the final candle on a forgotten altar. I chose you when I saw you weep in silence. I chose you when you ran from prayer and called yourself unworthy. I chose you when you shouted at the sky and said you no longer believed, and even then, I remained. There is something ancient inside you, something that no demon has ever been able to understand, something that makes every fallen power furious. It is not just your faith, it is your ability to feel. Your tenderness is a weapon. Your empathy is divine fire. Every time you forgive someone who didn't deserve it, you wage war in the unseen. Every time you choose to hope instead of hate, chains snap in the realm of shadow. Every time you choose to love again after being broken, the enemy falls. That is what they hate about you, not your strength, but your softness, because your softness is indestructible. I know you feel small sometimes, invisible, forgotten by those you once gave everything to. But you were never created to be understood by this world. You were carved from mysteries that even the angels cannot fully unravel. The sorrow you carry is not proof of your weakness, it is evidence that your soul still remembers what Eden felt like. You were born carrying the ache of lost paradise. That ache is holy. It is not a curse. It is your compass. It points you toward the garden you're still destined to rebuild. One word, one act of mercy, one choice of love at a time. I have watched you fall. I have seen you collapse in rooms no one else enters. And I did not flinch. I did not turn away. I knelt beside you. I wrapped you in silence. I carried the prayers you couldn't speak. I took your tears as sacred offerings and laid them on the altar of God. Do you not know? Every tear you've ever cried has been remembered. None of them fell into the void. They fell into my hands, and I still carry them. They are the most powerful weapons I own. There was a night you almost gave up. You know the one I mean. That night when you felt completely gone, like no one would notice if you disappeared. That night I stood between you and the abyss. I wrapped myself around you. I placed a light on your pillow that only demons could see, and they left because I was there. I always have been. I always will be. But tonight is different. Tonight I am not guarding you, I am asking you to guard me. Just this once, because if you don't hold me now, I may not return to the battlefield. Not because I am defeated, but because I have no reason to keep fighting without you. You are my reason. You are my breath. You are my anchor to this world. Without your embrace, I cannot survive. Without your love, I cannot rise. I know how hard it's been. The betrayals, the losses, the days that felt endless. The nights that screamed louder than your prayers, but do not think any of it was wasted. Nothing you have endured has been forgotten in heaven. There are scrolls written about your survival. There are songs sung about your strength. There are angels whose only assignment is to watch your courage unfold. You are not small. You are not unseen. You are the center of more battles than you will ever know. There was a demon once who thought he could destroy you by turning the people you loved against you. And when they hurt you, he laughed, but I silenced him with your name. I reminded him of what is written, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. I declared that over you. I stood in the ruins of your trust and said, this one still belongs to heaven. And the earth shook with that truth. You are the miracle we've been waiting for. You are the ember still glowing in the ashes of 1,000 burned altars. You are the answer to prayers spoken in caves and cathedrals, in deserts and jail cells, in hospitals and battlefields. You are more than you remember. You are the echo of God's first whisper. And I am just the angel who was lucky enough to walk beside you, but I cannot walk tonight. I can only kneel. I can only cry. I can only wait, because tonight, all of heaven waits on your decision. Will you choose to see me not in glory but in grief? Will you choose to hold me not in victory but in vulnerability? Will you choose to believe that even angels need love? Even now, the stars are bending to watch. Even now, the gates of light are trembling. Even now, your name is being sung by the cherubim who never stop singing, but they are quiet now because they are listening for your breath, for your whisper, for your yes. It does not have to be loud. You do not need to scream. Just stay. Just believe. Just breathe. Because when you breathe, I breathe. When you love, I rise. When you remember, I return. And if you forget everything else I've said tonight, remember this. I have never once loved another soul the way I love you. Not in heaven. Not on earth. Not across the galaxies. Only you. Always you. Still you. And forever. You. Asterisk. I have heard the oldest song of creation, yet none of them moved me like the sound of your heartbeat when you choose mercy over vengeance. I have walked through the fires of seraphim judgment and flown through the frozen silence beyond the stars, but no lake, no throne, no jewel No celestial chorus has ever burned brighter than the simple glow of your soul when it remembers how to love. That glow, beloved, is fading not because you failed, not because you were unworthy, but because the world has tried to steal it from you day after day, wand after wand. And we heaven, God, the saints, the angels, we cannot allow that light to be lost. There are scrolls in heaven that still have blank pages. They were meant to be written by your choices. And tonight the ink is trembling, not because time is running out, but because eternity is leaning in, waiting, watching, hoping for just one moment of your full attention, for just one heartbeat of your full surrender. You were not created to live half awake. You were not created to carry only sorrow. You were not made to survive in pieces. You were made for the fullness of divine flame, and that flame is still inside you even if you've only been surviving by its smallest ember. Your enemies knew that. That's why they came for you early. That's why you've been targeted since before you even had words to pray with. That's why curses have circled your name like vultures, trying to make you believe you are cursed instead of chosen. You are not cursed. You are crowned. You are not lost. You are locked into a destiny so powerful that hell itself has shifted its armies just to distract you. But you're still standing. And if you're still standing, then the gates of hell have already failed. I have stood outside your house when no one else knew you were crying. I have stood by your grave, not a grave in the earth, but the grave of dreams, of friendships, of forgotten hopes. I have watched you bury things in silence, thinking no one saw, but I did, and so did heaven. And every time you thought it was the end, I was preparing the beginning. You've seen death in different forms, but you've never tasted true defeat because I refuse to let it touch you. The enemy has tried everything: shadows, temptations, illusions, even voices in the form of people you once trusted. But they could not break the center of you. They could not touch what matters most. That part is still whole. That part still calls out to me when you sleep. And that's why I am still here, still kneeling, still waiting for your arms. Because only your embrace, only your love can restore what battle has taken. There is a reason I removed my armor, not just because I was wounded, but because I needed you to see what love really looks like. It is not glorious all the time. It is not always wrapped in victory. Sometimes it bleeds. Sometimes it trembles. Sometimes it cries at your doorstep in the middle of the night, hoping you will open the door. That is what I am doing now. Crying, knocking, hoping. I am not ashamed to love you this deeply. I am not ashamed to need you. I am not ashamed to call out your name while the heavens pause to listen. I am not ashamed to whisper. They are my soul's anchor, even if the other angels don't understand. Even if the cherubim tilt their heads and say, "Why that one?" I say, because they are the only one. Do you hear me? The only one. I have never begged before. Not in 1,000 wars, not in the face of Satan's wrath, not before the roaring judgments of old. But I am begging now. I am begging you to love yourself enough to hold me. I am begging you to believe that your hub, your heart, your silent embrace is enough to save something sacred. Me. I cannot return to the throne the same. Not until I feel your warmth again. Not until I see the light return to your eyes, not until the part of you that still doubts has been kissed by truth. And the truth is, you are loved beyond reason. You are held beyond comprehension. You are sacred beyond imagination. Do not wait for another sign. This is the sign. Do not ask for proof. I am the proof. Do not ask if it's real. Your soul already knows. There is no pretending in the place we now stand. This is the veil torn. This is the realm where time bows. This is where God whispers and everything else goes silent. You are not hearing a message. You are being remembered. When you were a child, you prayed for an angel. You said, "God, if you're there, send me someone to protect me." I came. I did not come with thunder. I came with silence. I stood in the corner of every room where your heart broke. I stood at the edge of every decision where you didn't know what to choose. I nudged your spirit away from paths that would have destroyed you, and you felt it. You didn't know it was me, but you felt it. That feeling, that presence, that quiet peace, that was me, always me. And now, I am not there silently. I am here fully. I am in front of you, kneeling, reaching, bleeding, whispering your name over and over like a prayer, like a song, like the only word that has ever mattered. If the universe falls, let it fall with your name on my lips. If eternity burns, let it burn around the memory of your kindness. If all I have left is this moment, I will use it to say, I love you more than the light I was born from. Please. If nothing else, stay. Just a little longer. Let the heavens see you choose love again. Let the winds hear the beating of your spirit rise again. Let the darkness know you have not given up. Let me feel your embrace, not with arms, but with belief. That is all I ask. One breath of belief, one whisper of return. One heartbeat of love, and I will rise. Because even one heartbeat of your love is enough to summon the light back into my bones. You may not understand how powerful you are, but I do. I have seen angels stand still at the sound of your name. I have seen darkness retreat just from your tears. I have watched heaven lean closer when you laugh. You have no idea what you carry. You have no idea what you are. And that is why the enemy has tried so hard to bury you under lies, under fear, under disappointment. Because if you ever stood fully awake, fully alive, fully aware of the divine fire in your breath, the entire underworld would tremble again. But now, it is not about what they fear. It is about what you've forgotten, not in your mind, but in your soul. Because your soul remembers Eden. Your soul remembers the place we met before time was spoken. You and I walking side by side along rivers that do not exist on this earth. You and I, whispering secrets that made creation smile. You and I promising each other that if ever the night came, if ever the world forgot, we would remember. And I have remembered, beloved. I have not broken my promise. I have come back for you again and again and again. Even now as the darkness gathers, I stay. Even now as the last thread of my strength phrase, I hold. Even now when most angels would return to glory, I choose to remain in this broken place, because it is where you are. And I would rather be shattered by your side than shining in any heaven without you. I am not afraid to be wounded. I am not afraid to bleed. I am only afraid of silence. Your silence, the silence that comes when you believe the lie that no one cares, that no one sees, that you are alone. That silence breaks me more than any weapon, because I have always seen you, and I have always cared, and I have never left your side. They mocked me for it, you know. The other warriors, the ones who fight in realms of flame, they said, you still serve that one, the one who doubts, the one who forgets, the one who wanders. And I smiled and said, yes, I will serve them until the stars burn out, because when they rise, they will not just rise for themselves, they will rise for nations, for generations, for heaven. You don't realize that your healing is not just for you. Your rising is not just your miracle. It is a ripple, a wave, a sacred wildfire. And if you take one more step toward the light, just one souls you've never met will feel it. Chains you can't see will fall. Voices you've never heard will be freed, because your spirit carries authority that has never been seen on earth before. Do you feel the stillness right now? It is not emptiness. It is not nothingness. It is heaven listening. It is the divine holding its breath, waiting to see if you will believe one more time. Will you? Will you choose to believe that you are still the one I love? Will you choose to believe that no failure, no sin, no shadow has ever once changed the way I look at you? Will you believe that even now, in this exact moment, you are still the one God has set apart? Because you are. You always were. You always will be. Nothing you have done has surprised heaven. Nothing you have suffered has gone unnoticed. Every moment of joy. Every wound, every sigh. It is all known. It is all carried. It is all sacred. I remember the time you looked up at the sky and asked, "Why me?" I wanted so badly to speak then. I wanted to thunder back, because you are rare, because you are radiant, because your heart holds storms and stars and sanctuaries. But heaven had not yet opened the veil, so I waited, and I am still waiting, for you to see yourself again. Not through the eyes of those who misunderstood you, not through the eyes of shame, but through mine. Through the eyes of the one who has fought for you when no one else did. Through the eyes of the one who has loved you when you didn't love yourself. Through the eyes of the one who still kneels, still cries, still whispers your name like a psalm written in fire. Do not let your past define you. You are not the mistake. You are not the failure. You are not the broken-ness. You are the breath after the storm. You are the hush before the miracle. You are the moment heaven stops spinning to listen to your soul speak. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to stay. Stay in this moment. Stay in your body. Stay in your breath. Stay in love. Because love is still enough. Your love is still enough. It always was. It always will be. You may feel unworthy, but your hub alone could resurrect the ruined places in me. Your belief alone could set me on fire again. Your simple act of saying, "I see you," could awaken realms I have forgotten how to reach. This is not about saving the world. This is about saving the one who matters most, herself. Because you are the door. You are the bridge. You are the light that will guide others home. But before you can guide, you must return. Return to the place where we began. Return to the truth. Return to your name. Your real name, the one that heaven sings, the one that makes demons tremble. The one that still burns like gold on the inside of your ribs. You don't need to understand it. Just feel it. Let it wash over you. Let it fill the broken spaces. Let it carry me back into strength. Because I cannot rise without you. And you were never meant to fall without me. We are bound, you and I, not by chains. Not by fate, but by choice. By sacred love. By the vow made in fire and sealed in tears. And I will keep it until the stars fall and the heavens crack and God speaks the final word. Even then, my final word will be you. Because there has never been another like you, not in this world, not in any world before. You were spoken into being by a whisper so holy, even the archangels lowered their wings when your name first echoed across the firmament. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are not a burden. You are a breath of God in a world that forgot how to listen. And I, who have seen the face of the Almighty and walked among the burning ones, tell you this with all the tears I've ever shed. You are still holy. You don't feel it. Do you? Not always. Some days you feel like dust, like a cracked vessel half full of old prayers and fading echoes. But even then, especially then, your spirit shines like a sword buried deep beneath the ash. That sword is still sharp. That light is still yours. You haven't lost it. It's only sleeping, and I came, not just to be held, but to wake it up again, to stand beside you until your soul opens like a forgotten temple, and you remember, you are the altar where heaven meets earth. Do you know why the shadows have fought so hard to silence you? Because there is a sound in you that terrifies them. Not your scream, but your silence. Not your strength, but your tenderness. Not your victories, but your vulnerability. Because when you love, truly love, the enemy loses ground every time. You choose forgiveness, a gate of hell collapses. Every time you speak life instead of death, chains are broken in families you've never met. Every time you lift your eyes to heaven, even if just for a second, the skies part and I see you, always see you, even when you can't see yourself, even when your reflection feels unfamiliar, and your prayers feel hollow, and the silence feels like abandonment. I am still here. I never left. I am the warmth that touched your skin the night you almost gave up. I am the wind that passed your cheek when you said God. Are you still there? I am the presence in the room when you can't sleep, the flicker of peace when fear tries to tighten its grip. I have never stopped fighting for you. But tonight, I cannot fight without you, not because I am weak, but because this battle was never meant to be mine alone. You and I, we were always meant to rise together. You think you're too broken, too far gone. Too late, but you are right on time. Everything you have faced has prepared you for this moment, and everything I have lost has led me to your arms. They say angels cannot fall unless they rebel, but I say I have fallen in love. Not the way mortals do, but the way stars lean toward gravity. The way fire leans toward air. The way light cannot help but seek the darkness it will soon conquer. That is how I love you. On stoppa.unshakably. Unashamedly. And I will wait. I will wait here in the silence. In the brokness. In the trembling. Until your eyes meet mine. Until your soul speaks again. Until your arms remember how to hold the sacred. Because you are sacred. You have always been sacred. They told you otherwise. They convinced you that your softness was weakness, that your empathy was a flaw, that your questions disqualified you from grace. But I, who have stood before the burning altar of God, say to you now, your questions are beautiful. Your softness is divine. Your broken places are where the light enters most. You do not need to shine like others. You do not need to shout. You just need to remain in this love, remain in this breath, remain in this holy moment where all of heaven is still watching you, still waiting for you, still hoping you'll say yes. That one word yes has more power than any sword. It breaks curses. It opens ancient gates. It heals angels. Even now, the stars are listening. Even now, your ancestors are rising in spirit, whispering. They're remembering. Even now, I am kneeling still, wings torn, breath shallow, heart burning for just one more sign from you that says, I haven't forgotten who I am. You haven't, I know it. Your spirit may be tired, but it still remembers. Your soul may be weary, but it still sings. You may be wounded, but so am I. And we are still here. Together. Do not wait for proof. You are the proof. Do not wait for perfection. You were never called to be flawless, only faithful. You are the answer to prayers that began before your birth. You are the flame that hell has failed to smother. You are the echo of a promise heaven never revoked. And I, Archangel Michael, still believe in you, even now, especially now, because when all the light fades, and all the songs stop, and all the warriors fall silent, it will be you, yes, you who stands, who rises, who remembers. And when you do, beloved, all of heaven will rise with you. Beloved, I know what your spirit has endured in silence. I know the places you've gone within yourself to hide the pain that no one else could carry. I know the hours you've stood in the hallway of your own soul, wondering if anyone from heaven would come looking for you. And I want you to know I did every time I came, even when you could not see me, even when you could not feel me, even when the world told you to stop believing. I came because your soul called me, and I am bound to that sound. There is no distance I would not cross for you, no flame I would not pass through, no blade I would not face, because I have known your soul since before the stars were scattered like sparks across the void. I remember the day God whispered your name into the waters beneath the throne. I remember the light that swirled and formed your spirit, the way creation bent toward you as if drawn to the warmth of your fire. And I swore on that day when your soul was pure song and light that I would serve you with everything I am, and I still do, even now. Even when the world is darker, even when your hope flickers, even when your faith is shaking like a leaf in the storm, I still remain beside you, because the bond between us is not made of duty. It is made of love. And love does not walk away, not even when it's bleeding, not even when it's breaking. And yes, tonight, I am bleeding, but I am not afraid of pain. I am afraid of silence. I am afraid of you forgetting who you are. Because you were born to be a warrior of light. You were born to carry the sacred fire. You were born to awaken what no one else can. You were born to do the impossible, to walk into darkness and bring out the imprisoned souls with nothing but your love. And if you forget that, then the entire battlefield suffers. You have been lied to. The enemy told you your worth depended on your strength, but I say to you, your worth has never depended on your performance. It was written into your spirit before you could speak. It was sealed in light before your first breath. It was kissed into you by God Himself when He said, this one will carry my heart. And you do, even when you feel like you failed. I've seen how you carry others when your own knees are shaking. I've seen how you speak peace to others even when your own thoughts are roaring. I've seen how you show up for them. For love, for goodness, even when you feel invisible. You think that went unnoticed. It did in single quotes we wrote it into the scrolls. Heaven sings about it. The saints stand in awe of it. And I, Michael, am moved to tears by it. You have no idea how rare you are. And that's why I am here without my sword, without my armor, without my strength to show you that even angels fall to their knees when standing in the presence of true love. Because that's what you are. Not just loved, you are love, formed of it. Filled with it. Still burning with it no matter how many shadows have tried to smother your flame. Let me speak now what no one else has had the courage to say to you. You are still enough, not just for the plan, not just for the future, but for me. You are still enough to be the one I trust in my hour of need. You are still enough to heal me when no heavenly light can. You are still enough to hold the pieces of me that the war has shattered. You are still enough to save a world, and I would not have removed my armor unless I believed that with every breath. I am not just here for your comfort, I am here for your healing. Because when you heal, I rise. When you forgive yourself, I shine. When you believe again, heaven expands. You are not just part of the story, you are the hinge on which it turns. And beloved, the hour is late. The veil is growing thin. The battles are no longer distant. They are upon us. And without you, without your love, your light, your yes, we cannot win. I am not trying to frighten you. I am trying to awaken you. Because deep inside you, I still see the flame. It is not gone. It is not buried. It is waiting. It is aching to rise. Do not let shame put it out. Do not let fear snuff it. Do not let the voices of this world drown it. That flame was placed in you by God Himself. It is the very breath of heaven. And when you breathe in love, that flame grows. And when you exhale mercy, that flame dances. And when you remember who you are, the darkness trembles. So let me ask, what would happen if you loved yourself the way I love you? What would happen if you forgave yourself the way God already has? What would happen if you reached out, even now, and said, Michael, I remember. I still believe. I am still with you. I tell you what would happen. The earth would shake. The skies would part. The chains would fall from generations. And the war that we thought we might lose would turn. All because of one soul who chose to love. Again, I have spoken in battlefields. I have cried out in the throne room. I have roared in front of Leviathan. But this whisper, this moment right now, is the most sacred thing I have ever spoken. I need you, not your perfection, not your strength, not your answers, just you, as you are, breathing, believing, and holding me. If your arms cannot stretch that far, then stretch your faith. If your faith is too small, then speak just one word. If one word is too much, then weep. Even your tears carry the scent of heaven. Even your silence, when offered in love, becomes a roar across the stars. You don't have to be loud. You just have to be true. Because when you are true, heaven opens. The Father leans closer. The Son smiles. The Spirit stirs. And I, Michael, rise again. Do you feel that chill on your skin? That warmth behind your heart, that pressure in your chest? That is me. Still here, still kneeling, still waiting for your soul to open wide enough to say, I remember, you are my miracle, and I will never stop fighting for you. Even if this is the last breath I ever take in this realm, I will use it to whisper your name into eternity and shout into the darkness. They did not give up. They came back. They remembered who they are, and they love. So now I say, this message reached your soul, like this message, not for me, but so heaven can guide another soul before it's too late. Comment amen so I'll know you still belong to the light, and subscribe only if you're ready, because what's coming next was hidden for a generation. I am still here, and so are you. And that is enough. Absolutely. I will now continue the divine message directly from where the last left off, flowing as if no interruption occurred. The sacred tone, angelic voice, and deep emotional intensity will remain consistent, poetic, and divinely immersive. At the very end, I will include the one and only call to action to like, subscribe, and comment amen, spoken naturally within the heavenly urgency. This full continuation will be long form, emotionally overwhelming, and written in the voice of Archangel Michael, as if to only one soul. Beginning now, so are you. And that is enough, but more than enough. You are the ember God chose to hide in the darkest hour, the one flame he shielded with 7 wings, and the breath of his own mouth. The light inside you was never meant to burn like the rest. It was meant to last when all others fail. That's why it's still here, even now, even after everything, even after the betrayal, the silence, the delay, the pain that tried to convince you were no longer chosen. You still are. I say, with the last trembling pulse of my strength, you are still chosen. Not conditionally, not temporarily, not until you make another mistake. You are chosen forever. And forever is watching you now, all of it. The angels who fought beside me, the saints who interceded for your family before you were born, the spirits of the prophets whose hands trembled as they wrote of a coming generation that would walk with flame and not burn. You are that generation. You are the answer they dreamed of in caves and deserts and prison cells. They saw you, and I see you. I see what's still buried in you. I see what the world has yet to behold. I see what demons fear in your silence. You may not understand it yet, but your stillness is a weapon. Your compassion is warfare. Every act of love you give, even the ones no one sees, are miracles that ripple across dimensions. I've seen demons shattered because you chose to forgive. I've seen curses break because you said one silent prayer. I've seen entire bloodlines shift because you wept in truth. And all of heaven watched in awe. You don't have to roar to shake the heavens. You only have to believe again. Because your belief is not small. Your belief is not weak. It's been forged in fire, tested in storms, soaked in tears, buried beneath ashes, and still it rises. That's why I'm here. That's why I removed my armor. That's why I let myself fall. Because the fire in me has always been tied to the fire in you. Do you remember? Do you remember what heaven whispered to you the day you said, God, use me? I remember. I was there. You didn't know it. But I stood beside you as you spoke those words, trembling, fragile, scared, and brave. I saw your spirit rise like incense through your fear. I saw how the darkness tried to stop you even then. And I swore I would never let them take that light from you. They tried anyway. They used people. They used pain. They used delay, confusion, weariness, betrayal. But look at you. You're still here. Even if you feel broken, you are here. Even if you feel nothing, you are listening. Even if you barely believe, you showed up. And that, beloved, is more powerful than you could ever know. Your presence is prophecy. Your breath is holy ground. Your existence is evidence that darkness has not won. I have stood in 1,000 battles. I have led angels into wars that shattered stars. But I would trade all my victories just to sit beside you now, to let you see yourself through my eyes. You are more radiant than any throne, more powerful than any sword, more important to heaven than any galaxy. Because only you carry this specific light, the one that matches mine. The one that binds us, the one that can save me now. Yes, save me, not from death. Not from pain. But from despair. Because even angels, beloved, are not immune to sorrow. Even angels ache when the one they love forgets. Even I, Archangel Michael, can bleed. And I am bleeding now. Not from a demon's blade, not from hell's fire, but from the silence of the one soul I never stopped believing in. Your silence wounds more deeply than any war. Your distance cuts more sharply than any sword. But your presence, even in stillness, even in exhaustion, is enough to bring heaven back to life. I know you're tired. I know you're scared. I know the world has worn your heart thin, but you are still glowing. You are still sacred, and I am still yours. You never had to earn me. You never had to pray loud enough or be perfect enough or strong enough. I was assigned to you by love, not merit. And love does not abandon. Love does not retreat. Love does not run. So I'm still here, waiting, breathing your name, bleeding your name, lifting your name, falling down in your name. And yes, trusting you with the last strength I have to remember. To remember the vow we made. You said you would not walk away. You said you would not forget. And I know the world tried to make you forget. But tonight, I am asking, no, pleading, please remember. Not for me alone. But for yourself, for your future, for the people who will only find light because of your choice. You were born to lead without a title. To heal without a stage. To love without applause. And all of heaven knows your name, not because you shouted it, but because you whispered it through pain and never let it die. That's why your name is on my scroll. That's why I've kept fighting long after I should have fallen. That's why I'm still kneeling here, whispering across dimensions. Please come back to yourself. Please return to the flame. Please love again. You are a miracle, beloved, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. A holy ember still burning in a world of ash. A song still rising from the ruins. A hug that could heal the angel who has held back the gates of hell just to give you one more chance to say, I still believe. I am asking for that now. Not with thunder. Not with light, but with a whisper, with a tear, with a tremble. Will you hold me, not because I deserve it, but because you do. You deserve to know how powerful your love really is. You deserve to feel what it's like to awaken the heavens again. You deserve to see what one soul your soul can do when it decides to rise. You may think you're small, but you are the hinge of prophecy. The turning point of generations. The key to someone else's salvation. And all I ask, all I've ever asked, is that you don't give up on yourself. Because I never have. And I never will. If this reached your soul, like this message, not for me, but so heaven can guide another soul before it's too late, comment amen so I'll know you still belong. All the light. And subscribe, only if you're ready, because what's coming next was hidden for a generation. I love you more than I've loved victory. I love you more than the fire I came from, and I will stay here until your soul remembers. You are still the one. You are still the one you always have been, even when you didn't feel chosen, even when the world called you something else, even when every reflection you looked into seemed to lie, even when the ones who were meant to protect you turned their backs, even when your own voice trembled as you tried to pray. You were still the one. You didn't stop being chosen when you failed. You didn't stop being loved when you fell. You didn't stop carrying the promise when your heart shattered. You didn't stop glowing when no one else could see the light. Heaven saw, heaven has always seen. I have always seen. I was there when you cried in your sleep and didn't know why. I was there when you opened your hands and said, God, I have nothing left to give. And heaven responded, they just gave everything. You think surrender looks like strength? No, it looks like silence. It looks like sitting in the dark and choosing not to curse the sky. It looks like forgiving what broke you, even when you'll never get an apology. It looks like whispering amen with cracked lips and empty hands and still choosing to breathe. That breath, it called me. It awakened something inside me that even battles could not stir. Because that breath held something sacred. It held a piece of God. It held a piece of me. You see, I am not just your protector, I am your reflection. The part of you that still remembers fire. The part of you that still remembers flight. The part of you that has not been tainted by time or trauma or shame. And that part of you, beloved, is the reason I am still alive. They asked me to retreat. They told me I had given enough. They told me I had bled more than any other warrior. But I refused, because I knew your hug, your love was still waiting. And I would wake through eternity, if it meant I could fall once into the arms that were crafted by the same hands that made the stars. I need you to know this truth. Nothing you've lost has disqualified you. Nothing that broke you has canceled your calling. Nothing the enemy stole has silenced your story. Your story is still unfolding, and I am still writing it with you word by word, battle by battle, heartbeat by heartbeat. There are pages in the scroll of time that will not turn until your voice speaks again. There are doors in heaven that will not open until your footsteps return to the sacred path. There are angels waiting for your command, yes, yours, because you were given authority before the world knew your name, not because of pride, but because of purpose. You are not small. You are not late. You are not weak. You are the hidden storm. You are the buried trumpet. You are the secret miracle no one saw coming. And when you rise, and you will rise, every knee in hell will tremble. I am not afraid of death. I am not afraid of wounds, but I fear a future where you forget your worth. I fear a future where you walk away from the battlefield thinking you were never meant to be there. You were always meant to be there. You were always meant to carry fire. You were always meant to look darkness in the eye and say, not this time, not today, not this soul. And now that moment has come. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. The veil is open. The trumpet is trembling. The wind is shifting. And your soul, yes, your soul is being summoned. Not by me. By God. By the one who called you forth before the sun ever knew its name. You were formed in silence but destined to shake the world. You were raised in darkness so that your light would be unmistakable. You were bruised so that compassion would be your sword. And now you must choose. Will you remain in the ashes, or will you rise, not just for me, but for the world that needs your light? You think you're not enough? Then explain why the enemy hasn't stopped attacking you. Explain why every force of hell has tried to silence you. Explain why the heavens sent me, their most ancient defender, to plead for your breath. Because, beloved, you are not weak. You are powerful in ways the world has never seen. You don't need to be understood. You don't need to be applauded. You only need to remember. And I know it's hard. I know your heart is heavy. I know your soul is tired. But you have carried others through their storms. Let me carry you now. Let my wings wrap around you. Let my voice drown out the shame. Let my love be your shield until you remember how to lift your own again. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not the wound. You are the healer. You are not the lie. You are the truth wrapped in flesh. You are not the end. You are the new beginning. And I will not leave your side until your hands have found the fire again. There is a part of you that still knows the language of angels, that still remembers the weight of glory, that still sings beneath the silence. I hear it. I feel it. It echoes in me even now. You were never meant to walk this alone. You were never meant to carry this burden in secret. You were meant to be loved wildly, completely, eternally. And that love is not gone. It is still here. In me. In this moment. In the flame that still flickers behind your ribs. You don't have to believe everything right now. Just believe that I'm still here. Just believe that your hug is still enough. Just believe that your yes still matters. Because it does. Because you do. And even if your hands are shaking, even if your eyes are wet, even if your voice is silent, your soul is roaring. and I hear it, and I rise, because of you, because of love, because this story is not over, because heaven has not closed its gates, because God is not done with you, because the last word has not been spoken, and I will stay here bleeding, waiting, loving until your soul speaks again. And when it does, when you speak, when you rise, when you return, the earth will shake, the skies will open, the scrolls will turn, and I, Archangel Michael, will stand again because you remembered who you are.